Time to start building, folks. So we are going to be building our hero section. So this is the top most important part of your landing page when people first click through to your domain. Let's jump in. I quickly wanted to explain what these 3 issues were and what this means. So this is the issue checker. And as you build out your app, you may see issues coming and going, and at times we might need to resolve them. So if I click on these 3 issues, we have a little pop-up here that Bubble brings up. And it actually tells us where this problem exists, as well as what the problem is. So we see that these errors occurred when we copied across my styles. Okay, heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. And if I click on one of these, it will actually take me to the page, styles. So I'm going to close this because I know that if I now scroll down and go find these text elements, this is where the errors are. So if I click on heading 1, and if you click across to your conditionals tab, all I want you to do is remove the condition in red, because we will get there. We copied across styles from a completed app, but some of that functionality has yet to be created. Please do the same for heading 2. Click across to the conditions tab, click remove, and lastly, heading 3, conditions tab, click remove. Okay, as you can see, no more issues. Perfect. I'd like you to bring up your property editor, please. And on the layout tab, let's just confirm that we're on the index page. We have a container layout set to column. Do that now if it's not. Container alignment starts from the top, meaning that elements are top aligned and are arranged in a column from top to bottom. Also make sure that the default builder width is 1400. Just a reminder that that is not a page static page width. This is responsive design. So the 1400 just relates to just the editor, what we're working within. And a page height of 767 is fine for now. As we build out the landing page design will dictate the actual height of the page. Okay, so we can just leave that as is. Next, let's first grab a container, click the group once, click it again on the page. Rename this to group section. I'd like you to set the container alignment to column as well. Next thing I'd like you to do is on the layout tab, halfway down, we've got make this element fixed width. Uncheck that. I want it to span edge to edge. You can remove them in width, set it to 0. And then we've also got min height. Okay. And as we build out this course, we'll get used to these particular tools. But let's head back to the page. And for now, uncheck the box that says fit height to content. Over in the appearance tab, what I'd like you to do is go to the background style, click flat color, and then we're just going to choose our brand or our primary blue color and just set it to 10% opacity. I'm doing this because transparent groups are tricky to work with when you first learning Bubble. So I'm temporarily setting a color just so we can see where this container or this group exists and how we are nesting elements within it. Okay, now I'm just going to tab across to the demo app to demonstrate what we're building. So the group we just dropped on the page is basically the group that will have an image as a background. We call this a group section, the topmost group. So next we're going to be creating these text elements and styling them, as well as these link elements. Okay, so let's grab some text, click once, and you can either drop it or draw it on the page, doesn't matter. So the text we need here is discover exciting tech jobs at workplace, written in sentence case. Fantastic. Now we're going to go down to the style attribute and we will select heading 1. This is going to be center aligned, so I'm going to choose center aligned within the text element, remember. On the layout tab, I'm going to remove the fixed width because the page will dictate how this text behaves. Min width I'm going to set to 0. And the min height, I'm going to actually set to 0 as well, because with fit height to content checked, the element, the text element, is now fitting height to the text within. Back to the demo app. Next, we need your next career awaits. So that's a text element. So I can either copy and paste this text element, or I can just grab some more text, click once, and draw it in. So in all caps, your next career awaits. For this, we're going to choose body large, and we'll do the same thing on the layout tab, okay? Remove the fixed width. It's very rare that we'll be using fixed width. Min width set to 0, min height set to 0, and as we do that, fit height to content, because it's checked, the text element itself is fitting height to the content within, which is the text, your next career awaits. Okay, I would like this text center aligned, so back on the Appearance tab, we're going to choose text aligned in the center. So over on the demo app, you can see that the positioning is very different, and it's also contained within another group. So if I go across to the left-hand side to the elements tree to the layers drop-down, we have our group section. And then within the group section, we have group content. Now, if I inspect this group content, let's have a look at the layout. We have a max width of 768. And a max width basically means how wide is this group allowed to grow on different screen sizes. So if there's no max width, the group would just follow the width of the screen. So we need a max width because we want to be able to contain elements in the center. And we don't set the max width on the elements themselves, we set it on the group that we're dropping. So that's a location where we can set it once, and then the text inside responds to that width. 768, okay. So I'm going to highlight the title text, I'm going to highlight the subtext. Then I'd like you to right click. Now we have a contextual menu. And we're going to say group elements within a column container. Click. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to call this group content. Always rename it first. Now in the layout tab, we can set our max width of 768. There we go, it's nicely contained. And now because it's contained, we can set the horizontal alignment of group content to the center. Okay, so where does the number 768 exist? Why did we choose 768? So we're going to be following what's called Bootstrap, and that is a framework for design. And it is just a framework. So it isn't gospel, but it is a design system that we can follow along to make our decisions become more coherent, which will obviously influence how design scales across our application. And if I click across to the responsive tab, I can see 768 in this bar across the top. I can also see 992 and I can see 1200. And if we're following the system called Bootstrap, there would also be a 1400 here. So click on the default and we can see that it's set to 1400 because that's what we set our editor width to be. Earlier on in a previous lesson, I talked about 16 pixels of text height, 72 pixels of text height, 768 max width. There are only a small amount of numbers that we'll just be repeatedly using throughout. So we don't just make these numbers up. We don't look at the screen and go, oh, I want to make this, instead of 768, I'm going to make it 797. We do not do that. We need a coherent and structured way to how we build, okay? Okay, so now with group content, and by the way, if you want to get to group content or select group content, you can do it on the left-hand side in the elements tree. And this elements tree is expandable. Or you can click on the text, right-click, and choose select first parent. That will also get you back to group content. Okay, so let's just click and bring up our property editor. First of all, let's select first parent so we have group content highlighted. And now we're going to apply some gap spacing, okay? So we check that box and now let's say 12 pixels, also part of the system that we'll get used to. Now I would like your next career awaits at the top of group content, so I can either pick it up. Actually, before we do that, what we're going to do on your next career awaits, the text element is wider than I want it to be. So I'm just going to select your next career awaits and fit width to content. Okay, it's pulling to the left, so I'm going to center align that. So there are two ways to change the position, or there are actually three ways. Let's discuss all of them. So we have horizontal alignment, and we have these four buttons here: make first, previous, next, and make last are grayed out. If there are more elements on the page, these would all be available. If we said previous, watch what happens. Your next career await text element goes to the top. If I click next or make last, it goes to the bottom. I can also pick it up, move it to the top, and over in the elements tree, I can also drag it underneath. Okay, I'm just going to put it to the top position. That's where I want it. What do we need next? Okay, we've got some text here, so I'm just going to cheat. I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to let you type it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste this text, Command C, Command V. It's dropped it towards the end. I'm going to paste it into this box. And I'm going to set the style attribute to a body medium. You can see it's currently left aligned, but I'm just going to override a part of the style to make it center aligned. Now the layout looks a little bit different. Let's go back and inspect. So in this example, it looks like there is a max width of this text because it's not going edge to edge. So in the layout tab of this text element, I can see that I have a max width of 576, another bootstrap breakpoint width. So let's do that. I'm going to click on this text element, head over to the layout tab. On the max width, we're going to choose 576. And there we have it. In the elements tree, go back and select group content. Now I'd like to position group content in the center of group section. Now for that to happen, we actually need to head up to group section, being the parent, to instruct the parent where to position its child group, which is group content. So we can go to container alignment and choose center. Now we are in the center of the screen. Now we need two link buttons, okay? One says browse jobs, link element, and the other one says sign up. Now these link elements look like buttons, but it's important to note that on your public facing pages, you need to use link elements to help Google, this crawling bot, understand the structure and the sitemap of your particular application, okay? So instead of using just a text element, we want it to kind of look like a button, so it's more engaging, so it catches the user's attention. So we're going to restyle some link elements so they look like buttons, but they will behave like link elements. So let's grab a link element on the left-hand side and just drop it anywhere inside group content. Okay, so it looks like a standard link. So what we're going to do is detach this link. All right, and let's set up a style here. So I'm going to say browse jobs. And then let's scroll down. For the font size, I'm going to choose 16. It's going to be the standard for any kind of button design. I'm going to choose center align this text. And I'm going to choose 500 medium. You will get comfortable with the repetition of setting these particular styles throughout this course, okay? So don't worry about why are we using 16, why are we using bold. It's a design system that you'll become familiar with. The main thing is that it's coherent and consistent. I'm going to choose a background style here of flat color. We're going to choose the primary contrast. and we're going to choose a roundness of 8. Now we're going to head over to the Layout tab, because I want a minimum height, or actually a fixed height we can choose here, of 44 pixels. 44. I'm going to remove fixed width and watch it expand edge to edge inside, which is pretty cool, and we will be using it for mobile. So inside is parent container, it spans edge to edge. But let's remove the min width and let's set fit width to content. Check. All right, so small problem here. That's fine. We're going to choose padding. So left-right padding of 16 and 16. Looking good. Last thing we need to do is just set the text to our black text. So it says browse jobs. Okay. Guys, let's say this as a style because we will be using it, this particular style, in other places. So we're going to say create new style. Let's call this secondary button link. Okay, we need another one that says sign up. So I'm going to copy and paste this with my keyboard shortcut. Copy, paste. Let's reposition it, head over to the Layout tab and choose Previous. And now these two are side by side. Before we do anything else, just so we can differentiate, let's rename from Browse Jobs to Sign Up. Or let's actually say Get Started. Okay, so now we have an opportunity to change the layout of these buttons. We want them side by side in a row container layout. They're currently a part of group content, which is set to a column. See, column. So we'll highlight these two link elements. With them both highlighted, we're going to right click. Group elements now in a row container. Now they're next to each other. Excellent. We're going to be calling this group group buttons or group links. Now we're going to say container alignment in the center, and to add a bit of space between these two buttons, we're going to check apply gap spacing, and on the column we're going to set 12. Looking good. Now with the group links group highlighted, we're going to say make last to push it beneath the subtitle text. And this is looking pretty good. But obviously the spacing isn't quite right. So before we finish this lesson, let's just sort out the spacing and then we'll take a break. Let's jump over to the demo app. So the demo app has some gap spacing of 32 on group content. Okay, 32. But there is another group within group content called group subtitle and title. So this enables us to apply less spacing or keep these two elements closer together. Okay. So on group content, let's change the row gap from 12 to 32. And now we're going to highlight your next career awaits plus your heading title. Right click, group elements in a column container, top to bottom, stacked, please. I'm going to call this group title, and we're going to say badge rather because the subtitle's down here. And then we're going to apply gap spacing of 12 here. So you can see that there will be lots of groups, and groups give us a lot of flexibility and power. They don't really add much weight to your app, so don't worry, but it's within these groups that we can get really granular and precise with our layouts. Okay, before we take a break, let's just edit the style of this link get started. I want this to look like a primary button. So I'm going to detach the style. I'm then going to change the background color to my primary blue, and then the text to the contrast white. That's all we need to do. After you've done that, you can go ahead and create a new style, and we're going to call that style primary button link. And create. Okay, so I know that was a lot to take in. We dealt with all sorts of things in this particular lesson, but we're going to take our time, and when we get back, we're going to start bringing this hero section to life with the background image, and we'll start talking about other components for our landing page as well. I'll see you in the next lesson.